Good morning, welcome to SteenSmokeHouse. Today we're going to do an Asian inspired pork shoulder on the big pit. Not long after I got our big pit, I put a deflector plate in it thinking that that would equal out the temperature from the fire side to the vent side, which it did, but the last couple times I checked it, the cook, and it happened to be a brisket, cooked really rapidly, and where I was used to having maybe a pound per hour per pound, now it was about half that. I couldn't figure out why. It didn't stall anymore. It used to get to like the mid 160, something like that, and just stay there for several hours. Last couple ones didn't do that. It just kept on climbing and climbing until it was gone, like way up to 195 or so. And so I started measuring the temp in the pit, and the fire side was now the cold side, and the flue side, the vent side, was now the hot side. So thinking I didn't have a cold side anymore and thinking my logic about the temperatures was kind of skewed, I went ahead at great effort and took the deflector plate out. So today I'm going to do our pork shoulder in the pit after the modification's been removed. So it's going to be kind of a new cook for me. I'm going to season it much like I did our Asian style ribs, which were really delicious, and go from there. So if you'll hang with me a little bit, let's get busy. This is a beautiful, just a little bit over 5 pound boneless pork shoulder. Some people call them pork butts, but it's really a shoulder. I'm not going to have to trim this or do much of anything to it other than season it. And I'm going to season the same way I did our Asian inspired ribs. And that would be, I'll put a little bit of soy sauce on it and then the red food coloring. And then I'm going to put our Chinese five spice on it. And I'm going to put our pink Himalayan salt on it and let it sit a little bit, and once the big pit gets up to temp, we're going to put it on there and let it go. So stay tuned with me, I'll be right back. Back when I was a kid and used to watch westerns a lot, you'd see them all out on the trail. They'd have whole herds of steer and whatever they were moving from one point to another. That had to be a very challenging life. They cook all these big cuts of meat and they make beef jerky to sustain them on the trail while they're taking all their cattle from one place to another. It really looked good on TV, so way back then, a lot of companies started coming out with this. Texas Slabs makes their own beef jerky, and this stuff's exceptional. They have it in like a half a dozen different flavors, but if you're in the area like Mansfield, DFW area, not only you check out their meat, but I'll tell you what, their beef jerky is really great stuff. So thank you, Justin, and thank you, Scott, and all the folks over there.
First, we're going to add a very small amount of soy sauce. Soy sauce has salt in it, and we're going to be adding a little bit of our Himalayan salt, so we don't want to overpower it with salt. So just a little bit of soy sauce.
Next is the red food coloring. It's just standard old red food coloring. This stuff really kind of surprised me because just a few drops, that's probably more than I needed, really go a long way. And it gets a nice little color to it. I don't think it adds any flavor to it, so to speak. It gives a lot of definition to the meat itself, so it'll kind of blend with the other seasoning we're going to put in, which is just Chinese five spice and that Himalayan pink salt. So I'm going to take my gloves off, and I'll be right back. Little dusting of five spice. Again, this stuff's got a lot of character to it. It's pretty strong stuff. It's got a real nice aroma to it. This piece of meat's pretty thick, so it's probably going to make more of a crust than anything else. The main flavor is going to come from the environment inside the pit. It's our pink Himalayan salt. This is pretty cool stuff. It's really very hard to grind, and it's very salty, so I don't want to overdo this. I was going to try to put it in another grinder. I've got an electric grinder, which I thought would do a better job, but I could not get this lid off no matter what I did. So this meat's thick enough. I don't think I'm going to over season it, but I just want to get enough on it to establish a crust. Okay, I've got our meat all seasoned up. I'm firing up our big pit. I'm going to let this rest a little bit, and then as we're cooking it throughout the day, I'll give you updates on how the progress is going.
I've placed a small water pan near the firebox side of the pit, and I've got our large chimney starter full of charcoal to help establish our fire. So early morning, it's already 93 degrees inside the pit. That's our temperature probe, which hooks up to the ThermoWorks smoke sending unit that's sitting on the tray of the big pit, and that'll be telling us what our grill temp is, and we can compare it to the temp at the top of the lid. I've got our water pan sitting there at the firebox side, and then there's our ThermoWorks smoke.
So now that I've removed the deflector plate, the grill dome, which is the big thermometer you can see at the top, there's about 285, and ThermoWorks at the surface of the grill is about 281, and it's been maintaining that for a pretty good while now, so not a whole lot of difference between the two, so we'll see what happens.
I just put another log in there, so we got a fair amount of smoke. I'm spritzing it with apple juice, and that's all I'm using to spritz it with. Everything's looking gorgeous. The color's beautiful. The grill's working like it's supposed to. I'm pretty glad I took the deflector plate out. I think it's restored the character and the functionality that I had when it was new.
This smells so good. Oh yeah. Look at that. Oh yeah. Well, let's see what it's like inside. Oh yeah. Whew. Hot. Oh yeah. Amazing. It's got that crust on there. It's got all the Asian stuff we put on there. I'll tell you what, folks, this is a good eat. I'll tell you what, these big pits, I don't think you can beat them. Oh yeah. It's amazing stuff. Please subscribe. This is good stuff. Oh God, this is so tasty. All right. Thank you so much for watching SteenSmokeHouse. We'll see you next time.
And once again, thank you, Justin, and the Texas Slab team. Thank you, Scott. Great guys you got there.